And now I can make the introductions very short because we're all good friends now. So, Peter, could we have you back again? Would you please welcome Peter Todd.
Thank you, Barry. Now, before I start, I've always laid my cards on the table and told people what I think. So aside from thinking that this is a fantastic opportunity for everybody and enjoying it totally, I've got to tell you that during the lunch break I sat on some icing from the cake. So before everyone starts looking, I've got a stain on the back of my trousers, but it's because I sat on the icing. You just be careful, you might pay for that. Thanks everybody for the feedback on the first session that we did today. And now we're going to move on to the second session. And perhaps a little bit more relative to Nouveau, but perhaps I'd like to feel that you can apply those principles to your ballroom and Latin. After all, we are a dancing family, not limited only to one style. The evolution of Nouveau, like the style of ballroom and Latin, has changed, so too has Nouveau. The basic principles will always remain. Interestingly, during the lunch break, I heard Richard ask Anthony about the written technique in the ballroom of lowering the heel to the floor and why isn't a backward step listed or written as toe ball heel, right? Similarly, in the Nouveau, we have two fantastic publications. One, of course, being by Neville Boyd and one by Russ Hesketh. And like the ballroom in Latin, we should appreciate that we have two technique books. Unfortunately, that hasn't always been the case. And I know in the Latin we have the Walter Lett book and the Imperial Technique. In the ballroom we have Guy Howard and the Revised Technique. Fantastic publications. We acknowledge those technique books, we acknowledge the differences. But sadly, sometimes in the Nouveau we use the fact that we have two technique books to polarize, to divide the style. Both books are fantastic publications. One extremely detailed, one allowing for personal interpretation of sway and shapings. The polarization that has been created is that because one book came from New South Wales and one book came from Victoria, it decided to start a war, right? And in some areas, acknowledgement of the other publication is not even made. Now, I go back to my original point. Both of those books, both of those publications are fantastic, and a fantastic guideline, providing you with parameters to reach your personal best, which I talked about in the first session. However, my concern with the Nouveau technique is that it's too blunt and too specific in regards to the use of feet. And I don't want to bore you, because I know that my objective in this part is to talk about Championship Nouveau. However, I see that the greatest weakness or the greatest opportunity for improvement in all dancing is the use of the feet. In the Nouveau technique books, it describes step one, say of a Marilyn or a Charmaine, as heel, right? And that's where it ends. Unfortunately, that's not really the case, right? Okay. Like in the ballroom technique, it becomes a heel at the extent of the stride. So, we stand on our supporting leg and we use the foot, firstly, as a baller foot before it extends to the heel. We then draw the back foot through, feeling all parts of the feet. So, if you were to pick up a Nouveau technique and decide to compete at a high level, it would be really boring. Because you'd be dancing a Marilyn and taking it literally like that. Okay? So that's why we need to apply multiple principles to our performance. The technique book, as I said, and reiterate, fantastic publications. However, they show points and they don't show how you get to those points. That's what I believe is an area that we all need to further develop. Oops, did I go off? Sorry, bad choice of words. It's how you reach the extent of that stride and the distribution of weight successfully between your feet that makes the difference between your performance. Now, balance, footwork, you've got your coaches and they're all going to work on that, and I'm not going to interfere with that at all. But what I would like to talk about is the evolution of New Vogue. And I'm going to grab a couple of ladies, one who's been well prepared and one who doesn't even know I'm going to choose her, because when you're doing something solo, you've really got to just make it impromptu. And I remember having a lesson many years ago of a leading ballroom teacher over from England, and she said to me, the thing that I dislike about dancing is the person who nods on one, winks on two, and smiles on three. So basically what she was saying to me, the predictability of dancing, whilst we look for perfection, the predictability can become boring. That's what I've done with this presentation today. It won't be boring because I don't know what I'm going to do next. And neither is the lovely Pamela. Now, I'm going to talk about Pamela, darling. And I don't need that anymore, I'm going to yell.
I really enjoyed Pamela's presentation, mentioned to you earlier. We even did a tango together, so we've become really well acquainted. And what I really loved most about it was her discussion about eye contact. So that when she did a fan in rumba, we looked and we danced to each other, quick, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and, oh, those eyes. And, yeah, beautiful. Right. The important part of Latin, right, is the eye contact, togetherness, and sharing. Just going to go through that again, and we're going to do that like it was progressive. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Little connection, but simply, and we've never met each other until last night.
No, we're just, I feel like I've known you for years.
Yeah. It's been lovely. Now we're going to do that again, and we're going to get that connection with the eyes. We've got nothing rehearsed with the arms. However, because of the distribution of weight over our feet and the connection that we have generated through our eyes, we're able to get, hopefully, something that looks like we've rehearsed it before. Which happened. Thank you. Thanks, darling. So, what I was illustrating there was in a style, one of our styles of dance.
One of our styles of dance. And how do I relate that to New Vogue? Well, I'm going to call on my other partner for today, Jan Riley. Come on, Jan. Now, Jan and I have got a long history with each other, and she knows nothing about this, and boy, am I going to call when it's all over. Now, when Jan and I competed, only a couple of times against each other, but in our era of competing, everything about dancing was performance. Right? The bigger you could do it, the better you could do it. You danced to the third row of the balcony, and you didn't care who was on the end of your hand.
And I'm going to give you some examples of that, and we're going to do the crossovers in swing waltz. Never danced with Jan before, but this is going back to the late 70s, early 80s. We would look at our arm, we would look at the third row of the balcony, we'd throw our arms around, and rarely did we ever look at each other, right? However, I believe that New Vogue dancing has evolved over the last 10 years, like the other styles have, to be an enjoyable experience, to be experienced by man and lady. Now we do things like in the swing waltz where we do the crossovers where we'll shake to each other. Where in the past we would use 2 lines, one now suffices. We'll swing the body across, and once again, the most important thing about my swing waltz is what's on the end of my hand. In this case, it's Jan. Right, okay. And 1, 2, 3 to each other. Yeah? Okay, so thank you. Isn't she lovely? Now,
Told Jan she's got to stay here, but I'd like her on my left side so that where I sat in the dancing, no one can see it. Okay. New Vogue has gone through a series of changes. For many, many years, you're not bored here with me, are you? Okay, okay. For many, many years, You know, you'd go to your teacher and they'd say, oh, your swivels were rotten. Swivels? Right, we had swivels where I didn't even know the swivels existed. However, to me, the emphasis is less on that aspect of things. When you're doing a swing waltz, for example, in double hold, simply the knees facing in the same direction that you're kicking, you will create a swivel action without purposely doing it. For many, many years, and I'm going to say, you know, I'm not being negative about New Vogue in those days because it's fantastic, and we all love the journey. However, we got lost, we got caught up in the polarisation of, in Victoria you do it this way, in New South Wales you do it that way, in West Australia you do it. No way. You know what, let's dance. Alright, the bottom line is music. And later on, I'm really sorry, I told you I wanted a rumba, so I'm going to have to do one with Jen later on. Don't worry, it's okay. We've taken the technique books and we've taken the understanding of the principles of New Vogue, and in some cases we've taken them too literally. I believe that the evolution we have been through, and the change now, has seen a more creative, more expressive approach to New Vogue dancing. Do you agree with me, Jan? Graham, do you agree with me? You know, like, I mean, for so long, thank God. Graham was going to say no. For so long, it was about dancing to the third row of the balcony. Right, when really the most important thing about my crossovers in swing waltz then was jam, right? Now, I don't care whether you do ballroom, Latin, whether you're a tap dancer, whether you do English all the time. I'd like you to grab someone from the audience, preferably not your partner, and I'd like you to come onto the floor, and we're going to do a few aspects of the swing waltz, and we're going to relate it not only to a swing waltz performance, but dancing, because that's the bottom line, we're dancing to music. Whether it be sequence dancing, whether it be ballroom, or whether it be Latin. Okay, come on, everyone up. You know, you're going to work that lunch off somehow. Okay. Whilst you're making your way onto the floor, and the boys are on the inside, for those of you who don't do New Vogue, we're going to form a little circle. I'm going to relate this to a little bit to ballroom. Right, okay, so, when we do the first half a natural turn in waltz, we create our sway of straight to the right, to the right. Yes? Am I right, Anthony, there? Thank you. Right, okay. So straight to the right, to the right. But what we don't analyse, or what we fail to identify in New Vogue, is that sway comes from the standing leg. So when I collect my weight over my right leg, and my weight is committed to it, then release what I have created, then my sway evolves. For many, many years in New Vogue, we disassociated sway, shape, and arm lines with what we were doing with our legs. Now we're going to start off and we're going to do a 3-step in the swing waltz, and spread out, give yourselves plenty of room. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this microphone, but I might really put these trousers to a bit of pressure. No, I should be right. So we're going to start off with a forward 3-step. Now what I'd like you to feel that you're going to do is, when you bend your knee, this is about preparation. So we're going to commit our weight to the foot without swinging down, of course. And we're going to use that knee to allow the body to reflect what we're creating. Now,
okay, so let me say, many years ago, we would do a 3-step in swing waltz, and it would be about waving our arms forward. Okay. Now, I think we've grown up. What we're doing now, and what I would encourage you to look at in your performance, is the use of the arms will now relate to what you're creating with your body, which is initiated by the legs. So, let's do the forward 3-step, and what I would like you to do is remain toned through the body without tension. Right, I would like you to feel that your weight will be committed over the standing leg. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Over the left, right, left, and 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay.
now, the shapes that you create, I'd like to reiterate, aren't isolated to the body, right? Okay, so it starts from the knee. So my weight's over my knee, and over my foot, over my leg, and my body is going to reflect what I've created there. Yeah? So let's have a little bit of crossovers, right? And I'll get you up again later, I think. You don't mind being here with me, Jan? Do you want a half my check? Okay, alright, so let's do the crossovers. We're going to start in what used to be called in our day skater's position, which is hand to hand, right? Okay, now we're going to open up, but what we're going to do for the gentleman, you're going to focus on the right knee, the lady on the left knee, and the use of that leg will create a sway to the side. Well done, right? Now, as we move into the first step of our crossover, we're going to use the left knee for the man, right knee for the lady, and 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Yeah? Okay, and once again. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Okay, relax a minute. Okay, so when New Vogue is watched, not necessarily adjudicated, when it's watched, we look for a natural look. We look for something that hasn't been manufactured, is coming from the bass, okay, and it's an expression to the music. I remember many years ago, I was Jason Thomas's greatest fan, right, fantastic dancer. But I had a couple a few years ago, Stefano and Natalie, and the best compliment I had was, and you know what, they were the worst couple I've ever told in my life. Reliability, regularity, anything like, and I reckon I really deserve that Bronco award I got. But I had a couple who I competed against as an amateur, and they said, normally when the New Vogue's on, I go out for a cigarette, but I stayed and watched. And that was the greatest compliment to me as a New Vogue dancer that I could have got, that someone gave up their leisure time to watch a New Vogue. And you know what? As I said in the first part of my presentation today, this is an important part of our business. It's our history, right? And it's a fantastic opportunity when you're a professional to have a steady income, right? Because it's a natural transition from sequence dancing, where the complications are minimal and you can follow the guy in front of you, onto greater and bigger things. So for those people who want to compete internationally in the ballroom and Latin style, that's fantastic. But let's not polarize our existence. Let's not polarize what we started with. Let's use it as a stepping stone to go into greater things. So, back to swing waltz, and I'd like to just work on the use of the knee. When you bend the knee, I want you to feel that you're going to squeeze the knee. The knee is going to be bent and it's going to have tone through the leg, rather than a collapsing action, right? Similarly to ballroom, right? Well, is there any difference? The only difference is we have the movement and fundamentals of ballroom together with the line and the opportunity to express a Latin, okay? So involvement in New Vogue, or participation in New Vogue, will only ever enhance your other styles. Okay, so I've done the big cell thing now. Okay, let's go back to this. Jan, would you like to hold my microphone?
Okay, so ready? Starting. We're going to bend the inside knee to look towards each other, and now we'll compress. And 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. With the weight committed over the outside leg. Then we do our back 3-step. And before you do that, can I just show you once again? Through the use of the knee and the timing of the action together, Jan and I don't need to work on matching our arms, right? So, you know, I was a Latin dancer at one stage and a ballroom dancer. However, at that stage, Latin also was very much rehearsed. If you were going to click your hands and do a turn, you'd spend 20 minutes in front of the mirror rehearsing that. The same can be said for the New Vogue. However, if we approach it the right way, using our muscles, using our legs, and allowing it to reflect through the body and the arms, with the music, we don't need to spend that. We don't need to spend those hours in front of the mirror. I'm just going to show you now. So, by using the knees and timing that action together, our arms will match without even any preparation. 1, 2, 3, 4, and side, out. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Okay, well done. Hey, what's your name?
So, for those of you who say, I can't do 3 styles, I don't have time. What a load of crap. Of course you do, right? Anthony talked, as I did earlier, about preparation. Now, practice makes perfect. However, it's really perfect practice that makes perfection. So what I'm saying is, practice can become counterproductive if you've got your partner in there and you decide to spend an hour and a half on a natural turn waltz. Because unless you examine the intricacies of it and you can do it in a reasonable, civil manner, what's the point? You must all be doing charming. Okay, the most important thing, guys, in our dancing, and I'm saying this to the men, is simply what's on the end of your hand. And like a relationship, like a marriage, it's about working together, okay? And respect. However, I see many couples in the studios where I work, and first of all, I'll go to the boring couples. They tend to do a natural turning waltz and a reverse turning slow foxtrot many times, arguing and spending a lot of time in unpleasant circumstances, right? What I suggest you do is back off, take a step back, enjoy the fact that you're sharing the time together, right? And enjoy the fact that you're dancing and do a Marilyn or a carousel, yeah? Okay, if you'd like to take a seat, I think you've done enough now, yeah, for a little while anyway. It's time to go. From a studio proprietor's perspective, from a dance teacher's perspective, Vogue provides you with the impetus to attract people. To attract people, to give them a sense of learning, right? It's like when you get someone in off the street for a lesson and they want to learn to dance and you teach them the 8 basic steps of the slow rhythm. And they go out at the end of that lesson feeling like they've really achieved something. Vogue can be the same thing. You can teach someone a Marilyn, a Charmaine, a carousel in a couple of lessons, and they walk out of there with a sense of achievement. Sometimes in this business, I feel that we're guilty of overselling our product. Keep it simple, stupid, is those famous words, and I think that that's something that we could all follow to a greater degree. However, Vogue at a championship level, to me, starts with balance. When the weight is correctly distributed over the feet, and the body weight is committed to a leg, shapes will happen. It does not require hours and hours of practice. I'm going to dance a little carousel with Jan now.
Is there any horses around?
Okay, to reiterate the points that I'm making, the use of the weight and the distribution of weight over the leg will enable us to create a shape that's not only appealing to look at, but is also harmonised between the two of us and together with the music. So if we take a small step back doing the start of a carousel, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4. None of that was reversed. However, what I got from Jan, what Jan got from me, was that we were committed with our weight over our feet and legs, right? We allowed our weight not to settle over our feet, but to be committed to that. Like Anthony was talking about earlier, in regards to the tango position and where you position a lady and what you do with her, I immediately thought of two messages. You know, and as in my ballroom days, I can remember Debbie used to always say to me, you're telling me to do one thing with your body and you're telling me to do something different with your arms. And really, what I should have really been doing was committing myself to the music. Because it's the music that harmonises two people. After all, what we're trying to do here, Jan's enjoying being with me. I've got some stories to tell about her shortly, but anyway, we'll get to that. It's about harmonising, it's about working together, but the commonality for the two of us, the connecting thing, is going to be the music, right? I've mentioned Debbie on a few occasions, and she's really bossy, but
Debbie always reckons everyone's out of time with the music, right? And you know, like she always comes back to me. She always says, "Oh, they're out of time." My couples mainly, and she counts her music in half beats. You know, I'll tell her that she's done, but it's mostly because I can't really do that. However, at a higher level, the greater expression you can get to that music, the better. So it's about finding the solution and working together, or finding the tools that you can use and apply together to come up with the optimum result. Any questions so far? No? Okay. All right. So much controversy has existed over the years in regards to holds, and the recent changes by Dance Sport Australia have suggested or have indicated that the written hold must be adhered to in C grade and can be used as reasonable relaxation in B grade and open events. I kind of think that, to me, the use of holds throughout Australia gets a whole lot more publicity than what it really deserves. You have the opportunity within the written holds to really express quite well, should you so desire. If you prefer to use your arms, provided they're connected with the legs and the body, that's fine. You will notice that when Jan and I did our carousel a moment ago, and we did our grapevine, we did that in the written hold, which is double hold, ladies right hand and man's left, and so on and so forth. You know, I'm not going to quote all that crap. However, there are alternatives to that you can use, which will give you an individualism without waving your arms around, without the need to use your arms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two versions of the carousel, of the grapevine and the carousel, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by staying within the confines or the restrictions of the written hold, yet allowing individualism.
And I'm a bit nervous today because my football team started for the weekend and they're losing, so I'm, sorry if I'm a bit off at the moment. Right, so when we do the grapevine from the side chasse, what we can do is follow the line of the lady, right, and committing, we can bring the arms in, and we can create a checking action with the arms apart before moving into our carousel. Alternatively, there are a number of different versions while still maintaining that hold, where we can do it as we did it here, leave the arms out as we do the chasse, and then bring them in for the check, right? Okay, or further to that, we can change our shape. So we can go, stay that way, and then use the arm over, still retaining double hold. So while some people have for many years thought that the use of the restricted hold limited,
there is no limitation. There is the opportunity to explore options. For every boundary, for every guideline that is set, allow a little bit of you to come out of it. Yeah? Like, or be encouraged by your coach, or as coaches encourage people to look for that X factor, that self-belief, that individualism that everyone is so keen to get in the dream. Someone once said to me, only a fool coaches himself, and how right that was. what may feel fantastic to you, and this is relevant to all styles, what may feel fantastic to you may be unappealing to the eye. You don't see it. You only see it from the inside. So, hence, the importance of having a coach. A coach is going to guide you, provide you with boundaries, and provide you with the necessary feedback that you need to come up with the best possible result for you. I talked earlier about my kids and their swimming careers, and they used to always talk about PBs, right? What I would like you to feel that you're going to take out of this part of my presentation is you're seeking to reach your PB, right? You're going to listen to your coach, who's going to give you the tools and the skills to be able to achieve that. Then you're going to work in a harmonious way to actually achieve that. So, have I lost you? You awake? Have I put you to sleep? No, okay, right, okay. I'm still worried about those trousers. Any questions so far? Yeah. Josh, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good. You talk about expressing your individuality within your body. Just got a question. Sometimes I see some of the amateurs trying to be expressive and individual. When we talk about guidelines.
Yep.
Technique. Some I find might push it a bit too far in being descriptive in terms of, for example, shadow position.
Yes.
So I want to know your, some take
certainly.
Take it too far maybe. Actually break that guideline.
And what a great question. And can I say that unfortunately there was an attempt by Dance Sport Australia to remove the grey areas because a lot of it is open to interpretation. Unfortunately, the changes to Dance Sport Australia's rules in regards to that didn't solve that. However, I can only talk from a personal view, and my personal view is that a written hold can be varied without being changed, without becoming a no hold at all or another hold. I personally believe, and my judging reflects this, and my teaching reflects this, that before you can release a hold, you must have first taken it. So, that's one point. And secondly, I believe that the positions of the body, whilst there can be variation with the arms, should always reflect that of the written hold. Okay? Once again, it's an interpretational thing as well, because there are people who obviously will have different theories on that to me, but certainly, I know in New South Wales, where I'm from, we're very, very, very strict on the fact that the hold must be an extension of the written hold, not a change of hold. In so much that
Start a carousel. In Sydney, quite often, a couple in an open event can be disqualified for starting like this. And that happens. There are certain adjudicators who will do that because the written hold is semi-shadow position. However, the claim is that hold should first be taken before it can be released. Right? So, I think that from a personal perspective and from a coaching perspective, I feel that the written holds enable the bodies to work in harmony with each other. I believe that variation from that, or dramatic variation from that, can cause a distorted look for the bodies and an uncompatible look for the bodies. Yeah? Okay. Jan, do you agree with what I'm saying? Oh, good. So,
let's just go over what I've talked about. So, I've talked about the fact that we have two technique books, and I would like to add to that fact of the two technique books, that with the exception of Tango Terrific and a couple of other dances, those dances have been charted by Mr. Boyd and Hesketh. They were not the originators of those dances. They have charted dances that have been around for 100 years. First point, they are a guideline. They are providing us with boundaries. However, they fail, in my opinion, to truly reflect the movement and the use of the feet. I believe that those technical references identify the end result rather than the journey on how you get there. Okay? Talked about the use of the body. I did a lecture some years ago in New Zealand, and we were out for dinner, and I'm sure many of you would know Colleen Murray, and Colleen's quite a character, and someone said, oh, Peter's doing his new Vogue lecture at 10. She said, I'm not going, hate new Vogue. They throw their arms around the air. So when she turned up the next day for the lecture, I used her as my partner. And you know what? She was talking about what she'd seen years ago with arms being thrown around. Yeah, remember, dancing is about two people moving as one, as a direct reflection of the music. Arms should only ever be an extension of what's been created through the legs, carried through the body, as you would do in a natural turning waltz, a natural turning foxtrot, or any of the ballroom figures. However, with the technical aspect of the ballroom that we're talking about, we then have the individualism and the expression and the sharing of the Latin style. As I said earlier, I can remember when I was a Latin dancer, spending all those hours making sure that our arms were in, oh look at Jan, she's right into it, eh? Spending all those hours
making sure that the arms were at the right height, we did the same thing, and really, the commitment of weight over the foot is going to create that action for me. Gee, we're both closet Latin dancers, aren't we?
I'd like to take the last few minutes. I think I've summarised what I've said. I don't want anyone to have come along here, and I'm sorry if you've come along expecting a technical lesson. I'm assuming that you already have those technical skills, and what I'm hoping to give you is an inspiration, give you motivation to explore within yourself and express this beautiful thing that we have called dancing. I don't know about you, but this is the best thing in my life, apart from the Saturday Rabbits. But this is the best thing that I have. And you know what? It's the best thing that you all have. Enjoy it. You're only here once. And you know what? You may not be Roger Federer. You may not be Novak Djokovic, but you are you. And you've got this one chance. You've got this gift. And I don't care whether you're a juvenile, junior, Masters 1, 2, 3 or 4. It's not 4 yet, is it? This is a fantastic opportunity for you to share something with somebody else, right? To release your expression, to be in a community of lovely people. Make the most of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter Todd. And sorry, Barry.
Once again, thank you for inviting me here today. It's been a lovely experience the entire weekend. I'd like to thank Pamela. Lovely, thank you very much. And the lovely Jan Riley, who's just an absolute treasure. Jan and I were at South Pacific a few years ago. I've got to tell the story. And they were late in delivering the food. And I said to Jan, you're smaller than me, jump the counter and go and get the sandwiches out for us. And as she did, the security guy came in the corner.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you, Peter.